You won't find yourself under fluorescent lights. You won't meet your higher self in the comfort of company. No, the real transformation, it begins when the world forgets your name, and you forget how to need them. That's where I went. Into the silence, into the dark. The kind of dark that suffocates men who haven't made peace with themselves. I didn't run from it. I let it consume me. And in that stillness, I met something deeper than identity. I met purpose. Solitude didn't just change me. It reassembled me from the ashes of who I used to be. The city keeps talking, always talking. It wants to infect your mind with noise, status updates, likes, meaningless chatter. But I found something in the silence that none of them ever will. Control. Control over thought, over breath, over time itself. That's the gift of solitude. When you remove the unnecessary, you uncover the essential. And the essential is never loud. It whispers, it reveals, it tests. And if you're strong enough to stay in the quiet, you begin to see patterns in everything and everyone. Trusting others is easy. Trusting yourself, that's the climb. In solitude, I had to confront the flaws I couldn't blame on anyone else. My rage, my obsession, my shadow. I didn't numb them. I studied them. And with time, I understood them. That's when the war began, the one where the battlefield is internal. No allies, no audience, just you and your own judgment. That's what makes solitude so deadly. It doesn't give you answers. It makes you earn them. They told me to be more visible, to be open, to share. But visibility is a weakness when you haven't solidified who you are beneath the surface. That's why I vanished, not to hide, but to become. The ghost isn't a metaphor. It's a state of existence. You're present, but unseen, watching, calculating, unpredictable. You don't walk into rooms. You appear. You don't speak. You command without sound. That power, it's only born in seclusion. Desire. That word haunts weak men. They chase it in the form of validation, lust, or applause. But real desire, true, pure, unfiltered hunger, it doesn't scream. It burns in silence. In solitude, I stopped chasing distractions and began chasing precision. I didn't want everything. I wanted one thing, mastery. And when your desire becomes that clear, it carves through temptation like a blade through silk. People ask me where the fear went. It didn't go anywhere. I learned to live with it, like an old friend I spar with in the dark. Solitude is where you become intimate with fear, and rather than reject it, you convert it. Transmutation. Alchemy of the mind. You use it to fuel your climb. When others freeze in its presence, you move through it. They don't understand how. That's because they never dared to walk alone long enough to meet it. There's an art to invisibility. It's not just disappearing. It's moving in such a way that reality bends around your presence. That's the power solitude gives you. You become so internal, so tuned into your instincts, that you begin to predict the world. Before they speak, you already know. Before they strike, you've already countered. Because when you've removed every false voice, the only one that remains is the one that sees everything. Solitude isn't isolation, it's elevation. Most men are diluted by their environment. I chose to become concentrated, pure, reduced to essence. Every habit, every weakness, every thought, I dissected them until only the necessary remained. That's when the shift happened. I stopped reacting and started designing. My life became an operation. My steps, calculated. My words, measured. My silence, deafening. They couldn't figure me out. That was the point. Solitude makes you unreadable. While others externalize every emotion, you internalize everything until it transforms into a weapon. Doubt becomes strategy. Pain becomes fuel. The past becomes armor. That mystique, that untraceable aura, it terrifies people who thrive on predictability. You become a glitch in their system, a myth wrapped in flesh. Every night I spent alone wasn't loneliness. It was construction. Brick by brick, I built a mental fortress. When the world came knocking with pressure, temptation, chaos, I didn't open the door. Solitude taught me to be my own architect, my own refuge. And when you no longer need the world to validate you, it starts to orbit around you, trying to understand what it cannot reach. I didn't want to be known. I wanted to be felt. That's the essence of a ghost. They remember your impact, but they never saw the steps that led to it. Solitude made that possible. It trained me to move without trace, to affect without revealing. It taught me that legends aren't loud. They're carved into time by men who mastered the unseen. I don't need fame. I need force. Everything I ever lost taught me one thing. Solitude is not abandonment. It's the rebirth of control. When you've got nothing but your breath and your heartbeat, you start to realize that's all you ever needed. The rest was noise. Solitude strips the armor off your ego. It humbles you. And in that humility, you gain the only power that matters, the ability to rebuild, alone. When you sit in the quiet long enough, time stretches. Seconds become chapters. Your mind slows down. You stop reacting like prey and begin thinking like a hunter. Patterns emerge. Human behavior becomes transparent. Society's tricks become laughable. And you stop trying to fit in, because you realize you were designed to stand beyond. That awareness doesn't come in conversation. It comes in stillness. There's a reason monks vanish into mountains. There's a reason I vanish into the dark. Because transformation demands solitude. You can't carry everyone on the journey. You can't explain it. You walk into it alone. And if you make it through, you don't return the same. You come back unrecognizable. Not just stronger, not just colder. You return untouchable. Because now, the world no longer controls what you see. You control what the world sees. I never needed the crowd. I needed the silence. That's where I found him. The version of me they said didn't exist. The one who doesn't fold, who doesn't chase, who doesn't flinch. Solitude didn't make me soft. It made me steel. And if you can sit with yourself long enough to burn away what's weak, what's left will be feared, respected, and remembered.